Well, good afternoon, soldiers. Well, good morning and good evening as well, depending on where you are. Boy, am I ever excited for today's event. I've got somebody that's become a good friend of mine over the last several months, and we've got a lot of great things to talk about today, and some really exciting news as well. We've been waiting to be able to share this stuff, so thank you for taking the time to listen today. Today I have got Matt Hartley with us, and Matt's got an awesome story to be able to share from where he's been and some of the aspects that he's done, but more importantly, his journey in crypto and what he's been doing with Phantasma for the last 5 months. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about the future with this announcement that we're going to be making. It's going to give some guidance and understand what the next several months are going to look like over at Phantasma. So it's, with no further ado, Matt, thank you so much for giving us your time here today. And dude, it's nice to have a little bit of a change of dynamics in some of our conversations. And so thanks, man, for joining us.
Hey, listen, I remember when I looked at Phantasma's website for the first time and I saw these SOULdier Stories that Phantasma was putting out. I think you started these about a year, maybe a year and a half ago?
Over, yeah.
A little over, yeah. So I thought they were great, man. And I can't be more than honored to be here today, to sit here, talk with you. As you know, we've made a great friendship over the last 5-6 months, and just being a part of Phantasma is just amazing. What a great group of people.
Well, when I started to learn about the Phantasma community and knowing a little bit about marketing, it was like this was an opportunity to leverage and to be able to share people's stories. And I'm just fascinated by the journey that any of us and all of us go on, because it really gets us to different places. And so sharing people's stories that are soldiers that believe in this project and its capabilities is fascinating. Now, we wanted to try something a little bit different for this SOULdier story. And, in the new world that we live in right now, the Metaverse, we've actually conducted several different business meetings in the Metaverse, and we've got a Phantasma headquarters in the Metaverse, and leveraging the technologies to solve business problems. So today, we're going to jump into the Metaverse and we're going to give this a go.
Here we go again, huh? We're going to do it again,
Yeah, before we start hearing your story, let's jump into our avatars and go into the Metaverse, and I will meet you in the Phantasma headquarters.
All right,
Metaverse.
Let's do this.
Fractionalized ownership through Phantasma's Layer 1 smart NFT technology will allow you and thousands of others to own a fraction of an asset, whether it be 1/10 of an esports team, 1/50th of a theater on Broadway, or 1/1000th of an area of land in Africa. And as a fractional owner, you'll share in any profits from its success. This sort of fractional ownership will be governed by DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. One of the big challenges for developers wanting to create a game on the blockchain has always been the cost associated with minting NFTs. The prices can be sky high, sometimes costing the developers thousands of dollars. Not to mention, if you mint NFTs that don't sell, you've just lost a lot of money. Luckily, on Phantasma, the minting costs are only a fraction of a cent for each NFT. And on top of that, developers don't have to mint hundreds of NFTs up front because of our mint-on-demand capabilities. Much like parfaits, onions,
let us know,
and
Dylan,
ogres,
when we're streaming in VR. We're in the Metaverse, right?
Yeah, I think we are. We're definitely in the Phantasma management room here. It's kind of nice. Look at all the graffiti over here on the wall.
Yeah, come in and we can play with that and all our different tools, and see our hands, and it's absolutely fantastic. There's a lot
It's
we can show
wild.
here,
Like
you know. Yeah.
even like looking like the. Can you imagine when this is like 10 years from now? What this is gonna be
Well,
like? I
right. When
mean,
you've got realistic avatars.
and then the hand tracking, the whole thing, and you're able to haptic gloves and haptic suits, and it's gonna be nutty. It's gonna be
It
crazy.
is. You know, we could have brought it in third person, and when somebody else is sitting right here, you can lean over and you could whisper at them, and you know all the sound dynamics are
It's
just.
unbelievable. Yeah, if like someone was sitting right here, it would feel like they're talking into this ear right here, which is nutty.
You know, I said to Dylan though, I said, "Oh boy, I don't have my notes in VR." You know,
Oh, you
we could
don't?
have
You can't see?
could
You can't see, can you?
well, I could have put my screen up here in front of me. I just said, "Oh well, I wasn't ready for that because I'm a little bit old school," and I put my notes down. I said, "Well, that's fine. You know, we know exactly what we want to talk about and all those different elements." You know what I do need though in here, Matt,
What
is
do you need?
we need a clock on the wall.
I don't think you can configure one in here. In VR, I don't think you can put a clock on the wall, but you can put your screen up there. You can
Oh,
share your screen.
that's true. That's yeah.
You want
Well,
me to share my screen at all, or what do you
sure,
think?
we're gonna yeah. Well, we're gonna show that. Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
let's maybe we can share the screen and look at the viewers here.
That would be kind of interesting. Let's see.
But we do have an agenda we got to get into.
Well, let's get into it, and then I can
You
do this
know.
at the same time. And
So, well, I mean, we're here to learn a little bit about Matt, and you know, one of the first things, dude, that I liked about you is some of your old school aspect. I mean, you could go all the way back to the '90s of, you know, the early days of the internet. I know I'm sharing your age a little bit here,
you are
but
just a little bit.
you know, when we go to a website and type in HTTP, you know,
Yeah.
you had something to do with that, and then another corporation that had three big letters to it. And it's funny when I shared those three letters to my son. He's
What do
like,
you say?
"What's IBM, Dad?"
Oh my gosh. You know what? And that's, actually they were saying what was IBM back in early 2000, by the way. No offense to IBM or anything, but yeah, so it's interesting. When I graduated from college with a business degree, and I went to Boston to get my first job. And it was, I was a lifeguard for the summertime, and then I lived in like this little sunroom in Boston. And I was printing out resumes from an inkjet printer, okay, to get a job. I was looking at the Boston Globe every Sunday, filing my resumes, every single job. And I mean, every single one was for a C++ VB programmer. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing the wrong thing. I immediately got a Windows computer. I said to my dad, I said, you got to give me the one that's in the home, bring it down to me. I ripped it apart. I installed Windows 3.1 on it. I learned all about the computer and the inner workings of it and just kind of the hardware side of it. And then I ended up getting a job at State Street Bank as a financial systems analyst. And I was reading, I kid you not, Norton's book for Access, Microsoft Access. I think I read that book, I don't know, 100 times. There was things about like arrays, software arrays, and when you're engineering, I didn't even know what the hell an array was. I'm like, what the heck is an array? And so that was my career. That's how software began for me. It literally began because the market wanted it, and then I realized, wow, this is really cool. Software is absolutely the coolest thing on the face of the earth. And so that was my journey. And yeah, I ended up spending about 10 years at IBM. I implemented the HTTP spec. So we built a browser, but it wasn't a traditional visual browser. It was a voice browser. So it was used for IVR systems. And so that's how I learned all about the web. I mean, the entire protocol, I had to read the entire spec from the W3C, implemented the caching policy, and that was how I learned about the web. We built the browser on what they would consider the first sort of web containers on a web server called WebSphere. And it was, if any developers out there know J2EE, that was the framework. And so, yeah, that was the beginning of sort of my web career. My web 1.0 career was with IBM.
Layer 1 on Web 0.0.
Pretty much.
I don't even know if layer 1 was even a term back then.
It wasn't.
But
I
but the
mean,
way that we're layering blockchain right now, and with Web 3.0, I just kind of made a certain connection there for you. You know, you're reliving 20 years ago. And
Well,
even from a different perspective of like, I was just watching Cuban on I don't know, some news there last couple of days, and he's just been telling the same story and over that we're just reliving a lot of these, the stocks back in that time, the crypto
100%.
projects, and seeing all this elements and how important usage and adoption is, and having utility to the blockchain. So it's like it's really cool to see that full circle, but we still have some gaps here that we want to talk about before we come back to the full circle and how it all applies to Phantasma. So that's really cool that you've got some, to hear some of your story and what motivates us to get into it. And here you are 20 years later, still at the foundation of something and building it. So that's really cool, dude. And I guess at some point in time you progressed, and fast forward through the 2000s, and crypto begun born. And tell us a little bit about that transition of the 2000s into the early 2010s when you begun to learn about cryptographic
So,
technology.
web 1.0, right? HTTP spec 1.0. That's where I learned about the web. That's how I learned how to, program and engineer software. And then we kind of run into web 2.0, which is the Facebook social media era, right? Of the web. And at that time, I was doing a couple things, but I started a company in 2014, a software company. It was a keyless access company, okay? And kind of a web 2.0-ish type of company. I remember in 2013, before I started that company, I was looking at Ethereum. And I will tell you, the first thing I said is, okay, this is cool. I was looking at the documents on Ethereum. I didn't invest. I'm like, I'm not going to. I did buy Apple, though. I bought Apple that time frame because there was a time where there was a market was going down. So I did buy Apple, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get into this Ethereum thing. And I let it be. And, I've kind of been always on the tail end, or sort of at the end of each of those phases, web 1.0, web 2.0. And here we are with web 3.0. We're here. And it's that name web 3.0 has kind of gone through a variety of different definitions, if you will. Like semantic web is what people have talked about. But I think the decentralization movement is really what the web was about when Ted Berners-Lee created that spec, when the ARPANET began, which was the beginning of the internet. Okay, it was a government program, the ARPANET. It was intended to be decentralized nodes communicating with each other. And that stopped with Web 2.0. Then we got centralized solutions, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr.
Yeah.
All of them, they became centralized. And you saw what's happened just in the last few years with censorship and things like that. And what I love about Web 3.0, and which I didn't realize until really this past year, is that we're finally getting back to a point what the web was supposed to be, owned by you and me. And I didn't mean it to make a rhyme there, but you hear what I'm saying. Like, I didn't mean to make a rhyme, but so that's what I think is fascinating about decentralization in the Web 3.0 movement. And it's not about these tokens, man. I know we're all trading tokens and people are making a lot of money and all that. It's not about the tokens. It's a great aspect in terms of being involved with the project. I get that. But the value is in the technology. It's in this blockchain technology that I don't think anybody realized, even when Vitalik created Ethereum. I don't think anybody realized the power of this technology and then the decentralized movement on top of it.
That's the type of stuff that really gives me goosebumps. And, I was hearing something from Michael Saylor there as well very recently, and how he correlated, trying to establish the potential value of this crypto. And I know what you say when you say it's not about the token. It isn't, but it is.
But
and,
it is. Right.
When we talk about, the value, he picks up his phone and he said, a company like Apple that could be worth multi-trillions of dollars because they were able to package all of our pictures and our conversations, everything into this product. What's the value of those corporations to be able to create a tool that packs all of that, but also packs all of our financial wealth into it and gives us that, that element of control? And it was, that was a comment that just I've been thinking about a lot. And I was like, okay, that's that's a metric to be able to put measurement to this as to where this technology can be in 5 years or 10 years. And when you say, it's not about the token, I get it. It's, this is software that solves problems. And that's all software does, is it just solves our problems in our life or our business problems at the end of the day. The token goes down to the tokenomics, that it's absolutely necessary to be able to offer that economy to, say, the gaming world. And that's like right now we know that the gaming world, 70% of game developers are unfavorable for NFTs. But I hear about that.
Which is surprising to me. But I kind of get it, but
Yeah.
it's surprising.
But back in the late 90s, people were skeptical of email and skeptical of the internet.
Yes, they were. I was, by the way, and I didn't want to make transactions online. I remember for a longest time, I didn't want to use PayPal. I didn't sign up for a PayPal account. And then there was a transition point where it's like, okay, I'm going to start buying things online. And then now, I don't buy anything at the store other than groceries.
which is also changing.
Which is also changing. Yeah. I'm getting like my chef meals now are being shipped to me. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Wow, what a world.
I know.
Yeah, it's fun though. And this whole metaverse movement that is transpiring and growing, I have people saying, well, I just don't know about that. And I say, well, whether you like it or not, it's happening. And if it provides an element of value of productivity, we had to try it at Phantasma. And there are some things we don't like. We like Zoom because we can truly save people's facial expressions. I get that. But the metaverse is ultimately going to change that. But when you have the technology of this whiteboard, or we can show the value of that at business meetings and have the control down here and do workflows and have conversations like this, there is a place for it. It's really cool. But we're digressing here. I want to get back to, you had your journey in the business in the late tens and throughout, and you learned about crypto and kind of brushed it aside like a lot of us at first brushes, but started to understand some of the value of this software and this technology. Tell us around that journey and how that led you to Phantasma, and then what you started to see at Phantasma before you were invited on the management team.
Yeah, so it was around, I would say around the July timeframe of last year. Okay, I was talking with a good friend of mine. Okay, his name's Jimmy, and that's about as far as I'll go. And I've been working with Jimmy for a long time, and he's a fascinating guy because he's always looking at the next thing. And I got on the phone with him, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna start selling land on the moon as an NFT. And I'm like, what the hell is an NFT? And then he explained it to me. I'm like, oh man, you're telling me that Ethereum released a standard for non-fungible tokens, and what's the purpose of that? And so that was literally the beginning of the, excuse my language, the oh shit moment, where I'm like, oh shit. And Gary Vee talks about it too. I mean, if you ever hear some of Gary Vee's conversations about NFTs, he said, do yourself a favor, spend 50 hours or whatever, 30 hours, whatever he said, and learn about NFTs. Just Google what is an NFT. And so that was my beginning of really diving into crypto. I literally read every white paper you can imagine. I read Satoshi's white paper for Bitcoin. I read Ethereum's white paper. I reread it. I read Solana's. I read Polkadot's. I went through, all the major chains. I really started getting my hands around, how does cryptography work? Why is the blockchain doing what it's doing, right? I really got into the inner workings and, mostly from an architecture standpoint. And then I started getting on YouTube channels. And then I started really learning about sort of the current state of cryptocurrency. And the market was rising last year around this time. You could see it. It was right around the August timeframe. Many projects started going into parabolic. And I was watching a video. It was Alex Becker. Okay, and this is my journey into it. And he said, guys, you got to check out these programmable NFTs, these smart NFTs. And at this point, I already knew what an NFT was, and I'm like, how can I do something here? How can I join this new movement? What can I do to help in the NFT movement? And what could I do to make a business that solves a problem, right? In software. And so he mentioned this smart NFT, talked about a few companies, and I literally went into Google. What is a smart NFT? That's what I typed in. And the first thing that came up was Phantasma. And again, another oh shit moment. I'm like, oh shit. And that was my journey into Phantasma. I immediately got into the community, got on Discord, and this was before Phantasma went through its sort of parabolic rise. I mean, you can go look at CoinMarketCap. I mean, it happened like around September, and I don't know. There was many reasons for it. It could have been the Meta announcement from Zuckerberg, but that was my beginning into Phantasma. And I read the white paper for Phantasma. I joined the Discord. I joined the Telegram. I DYOR'd. I did my own research, and I did a lot of it on Phantasma. So that was really my journey into Phantasma, and it hasn't stopped, and it's not going to. It's not going to stop. It's very clear that Phantasma has a very unique blockchain solution, even compared to some of the biggest ones, Solana, Ethereum, you name it, right? So what can I do to help Phantasma? What can I do to help this community? What can I do with all this experience I've gotten over this time and make Phantasma a top 10?
Let me stop you here for a second and kind of circle back. We jumped over some stuff here, but you know, at this point in time, you had a discovery, and in your other life, your other career, you're leading an organization that you started and got funding for, and you know, was getting to a point of growth where you had decisions to be able to make. And so you had, you know, some interesting things going on, and you're putting a whole bunch of extra time into learning this and to see how that this NFT technology, smart NFT technology can, you know, provide real use utility and applications. You get that oh shit moment, and you know, start asking, how can I help? How can I help? And look at this. Because I don't have my notes right here on my desk in front of me, we didn't cover some of the basics of, like, Matt, where do you live? And, you know, a little bit about the fact that, you know, you're a father, and, you know, I'll just cover some of that. Matt is a father and he's in South Carolina right now. He did tell you that he's from Boston, and that's about the only thing I don't like about him. But if you know anything about Chicago and Boston, you'll understand the dynamics. Everything else are okay. And every once in a while, his southern accent comes out, you know, and he'll say y'all and stuff like that. But, you know, so you find Phantasma, and like, our community at Phantasma is second to none. When you start to look at, you know, some of the metrics out there and aspects of our social community, we have a very strong army, whatever we want to call our group of soldiers. And our Telegram community is second to none, where there are people consistently there to help. And if there's something that anybody knows about the leadership of Phantasma, is the organic nature, that people that give their efforts are inevitably passionate about the project, are possibly people that may fit into the different teams that we build. And so you start offering, what can I do? What can I do? Immerse myself. Dude, you know, this reminds me of a conversation I think we were having about luck, right? And we were laughing, and it's like, hey, you know, we create our own luck in life. Like, you know, some people say, well, you're just lucky or whatever because of Soul. I did my research intensively and found Phantasma. And
I was watching, listen, I'm not going to interrupt you. I was watching a video on Pitbull. Pitbull has a little video. He's like, yeah, some of the people tell me, he's like, you're really lucky. I said, he's like, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I'm like, he creates it. That's the whole point. That's what he's basically saying. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. Create your own opportunities in life. You immerse yourself into the community, and it's like, kudos, man. You know, good job to you. So, you know, you end up finding this and rolling up your sleeve. Can I show rolling up my sleeves in VR?
I don't know if you can. I mean, my sleeves are already up. I got my short sleeves on here.
Yeah. I don't. All right. You know, I digress. A
little bit.
So you introduce yourself to the team. You start offering some help, and you figuring out what you can do, right?
Right, I can help.
And after some time, you get introduced to Phantasma. And so, what does it look like to you on the inside, on the management side? I mean, you're trying to find different things to be able to come in and help. And right now we have, you know, you are immersed heavily in that connection of lead generation, because we have begun to generate a tremendous amount of well, I don't want to say tremendous,
A good amount,
a good handful,
amount,
yes,
yeah, a good amount of
leads at this point in time, and different projects that are being discussed, and how they get from here to being plugged in to a blockchain to solve their problems and vision,
Yep.
you know.
And what's interesting about some of this, so first of all, yes, I'm a father of two little girls, wonderful wife who's absolutely an amazing salesperson and does amazing things in healthcare. And yeah, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and blah blah blah, right? I mean, I'm no different than anybody else, other than I do work hard, and you know, my family supports that, and that's really helpful and great in that regard. Um, when it comes to some of these leads that are coming in, right? So coming back to the leads that are coming into Phantasma, they're gamers, they're game developers or metaverse developers, and some of them don't know anything about cryptocurrency, or they know a little bit about it. They don't know anything about tokenomics, and they don't know much about blockchain technology or smart contracts or NFTs, or they're heard about it on, you know, a channel somewhere or some radio show or whatever, but they don't know a lot about it. And you can have a lot of self-service developer documentation, but at one point, it helps to talk to somebody and actually help guide you through the journey. And I think that's the gap that I was able to bring to Phantasma, which is we have amazing business development folks that work with all of these leads coming in, including yourself, but there's a technological sort of techie sales engineering type of role that's needed. And that's a role that I've done all my life. So I kind of straddle, if you will, not to use that's a bad word, but but I essentially go between sales and the development and technology. And so I can bridge that gap and help Phantasma. When a developer comes in, I can work with our business development team, and I can work with the game developer or a DApp developer and help them through the technical journey.
It's like
Technical
that's,
journey.
yeah, in the corporate world, that's a sales engineer,
That's a
and
sales engineer.
it's you bring up documentation. I'm glad you brought it up, because very recently we've just had a major update to our documentation. So anybody that is not aware, to to be able to onboard it, and just like people that are coming on, there's different channels that they'll be able to follow to be able to build their product, whether it be a DApp or a game or some metaverse project or a DAO of that nature. So it's great as the Phantasma team continues to grow, and different roles are filled out, and uh, it's exciting. Now, on that note, we were teasing the community a little bit about getting into some news, and we've been working hard, and it's actually in this whole nature of full circle of
Yep.
let's look at Phantasma's story for a moment here. For the last 3 years, they've been building. For the last year, marketing has begun to build out, and that team has really begun to build out, and now the chain is almost, in a sense, to say we're ready. We're ready for the adoption, and we've got a multitude of products that have been currently being built on the chain. We've got a handful of products that are under development and not announced yet. But these products that are announced, there's even some big news centered around them. And within the next 35 to 40 days, we're going to see a handful of playable games on the chain, mobile, and we're going to talk about some of this stuff. But I think we've got a video that we'd like to share here,
Let's do it.
and share some of this news, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about what this means in terms of adoption, and what Phantasma is doing.
But before we show the video,
sure.
real quick though, and let me say a couple things about this. The video
Yeah.
that people in the community are about to see is a video that has been in planning for probably, it feels like a long time, since I've actually been at Phantasma. I mean, this video might be a 1-minute video, and it's an amazing video, and I love it. But it's actually been a lot of planning, and a lot of great things have been happening to Phantasma, even with me joining and being a part of the team and helping out where I could. this video is an accumulation of a lot of skill, a lot of planning, a lot of work, at the end of the day. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And I know you're excited. I know,
Oh, yeah.
I know Jay, I know Rob, I know Bill, I know Gail, Graydon, Gary. Everyone is excited because even Sergio, I'm trying to name them all, Sergio and Merle. This is the beginning. Right here. What this video is about to show you is this is the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop. The train is moving forward.
This is just the start of it. This is just gonna what you're gonna see for the rest of the year to come, and some of this forward thinking. I think that was an awesome precursor, Matt. I appreciate you establishing that floor, because it's really exciting for everybody that's involved, and all this work that the team has been put in for the last 3 years plus. The world is about to learn about it. So having said that, Dylan, I think you're muted. I don't think I can hear you, but why don't you go ahead and cue the video?
Soldiers, we have some exciting news. March 23rd to the 25th, Phantasma will be exhibiting at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. With nearly 30,000 gamers and game developers in attendance, the Phantasma team will be hard at work recruiting new soldiers, increasing adoption, and most importantly, introducing game developers to the power of Phantasma's Layer 1 Smart NFT ecosystem. Come see us at the booth. We'll have game access NFTs from Ghost Festival, Bloodroom, 22 Racing Series, Wildcard, and Wonderman. Plus other NFTs from partners like Save Planet Earth and Light 45. And some old school non-NFT Phantasma swag that you can use outside the Metaverse. Come meet the team, as well as other partners and recognizable YouTube soldiers. And grab a free exclusive Phantasma t-shirt or follow us on all of our socials to get live updates from the show floor. This community is about to explode. The world is just starting to discover the Metaverse. Just wait until they get a load of Phantasma.
All right, I think we're back now. That
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Now we're sharing the screen, and yeah, there's me. You can see me up there.
There we go.
And I know we're a little bit of a delay, so we're watching the delay of it right now, and we're able to see some of the chat. I could probably get up there and go and look at some of the conversations of what people are saying. Yeah, where is it going to be in 5 years? Yeah, this is fantastic, guys. So we're going to San Francisco.
We're going to San Francisco.
We've got a booth.
Yep.
We've got a variety of partners that are showing up. We've got partners that have committed to getting game launches. So we've got again, this is when I should have my notes in front of me, but we've got Blood Ruin that's going to be physically there. We've got Wildcard that's going to be there. We've got Save Planet Earth that's going to show up on Phantasma's behalf. We've got a couple of different influencers at this point in time that have committed to coming. There's the stream. That's what it looks like. I didn't get a chance.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
See.
So yeah, look at that. So you
When you can see us when we're in VR. If you need to see what
I love that. This is good. Listen. This is. I know. I've actually looked at a little bit of these comments, and I know we're going to get to them, but this is the beginning. How do we get to a top 10 blockchain? We have to make partnerships. We have to get out there. We have to inject or infuse the Phantasma brand, the Phantasma blockchain into the gaming community, into the metaverse community, and into the future of smart NFTs for real world assets. Okay, that is the future. Real world assets will be represented on public blockchains.
Right.
Okay, real estate, cars, you name it, all are going to have an NFT. And I guarantee you it's going to be a smart NFT.
Well, the blockchain gaming conference is the second largest in the United States. There's 30,000 attendees. There are over 500 different indie game developers that are there that have these game products. And they did a survey of their audience. And, this is the gaming industry that's extremely well established. And, these are organizations that are consistently trying to get their products out. And there's this carrot being dangled in their world called NFTs. And then you've got the general perception of what NFTs are, that they're a JPEG. And, we are out there to dispel that notion. That's not what it is. And then there's other notions that it hurts the planet. Well, we're there to dispel that notion, and then when we start to look at the different aspects that, how we offset the carbon and, those folks in California, we're there to dispel those notions. And they did their survey that 70% of their attendees, 28,000 some odd and change interviewed, said 70% NFTs essentially are the devil to the gaming world because of those particular concepts. They don't understand how it can provide true utility, how Phantasma can provide true utility to these gamers and essentially change the entire gaming experience. No different than how these headsets can change our meeting experience and whatnot. And when NFTs meet into the metaverse, well, that's a different world. We can look around at these assets that we could hold in our room and physically hold this, but that's another conversation. But for the video gamer and what NFTs can do to that, this industry is about to be disrupted. And in what 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, it won't be 70% that say it's unfavorable. I mean, I'll take a stab in the dark and go on the air publicly and make a prediction that next year it's going to be between 40 and 50%. We're going to break that particular barrier. And just like how at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas this year, it was all VR meets AR. Those lines started to get blurred. Like that was the biggest headlines for the Consumer Electronics Show. For the gaming world, it's going to be blockchain meets gaming. And this is the year where that notion is going to be dispelled. So this is only one conference, but there are a multitude of conferences and that are coming up throughout this year. I've done these for 20 years of my life. You have other team members we've been eager to get out and belly to belly. In the last 2 years of the pandemic have been very, very tough for us. But guess what? We're back and we're ready to rock. We've got a team of 6 people coming from Phantasma, and I think a total of up to 15 right now. They're going to represent Phantasma.
We literally have an army going I mean, we have influencers coming with us. We have our core management team folks coming with us. I mean, it's going to be, we're putting 4 countries.
So you guys,
4 different countries,
we want to invite all of our soldiers to come. This is March 23rd through the 25th in San Francisco. Come and meet us. Come by the booth. Come out for dinner with us. We've got T-shirts that we're giving away. We've got Phantasma, other paraphernalia given away. You notice that there's game access. So you've got games that are, we're going to be playing on the showroom floor that are demonstrating how NFTs and how the smart NFT technology is different than your typical JPEG. Like it's going to be a lot of fun. And we just can't share how excited opening these doors is going to be for Phantasma within the gaming community itself.
I mean, listen, last year, everyone says blockchain gaming was year 0. Okay. So if that was true, if blockchain gaming was year 0 last year, we're in the beginning of year 1 right now. And we already have games running on Phantasma, and we're going to have more games, more metaverse projects running on Phantasma. That's happening as we speak. Some we can't even announce yet. The fact is that when I said that us going to this conference is the beginning, it really is the beginning. I mean, yes, last year was blockchain year 0 for gaming, but this is Phantasma's year. This is our year. And we're coming out. I mean, there's going to be some big brands and some competitors of ours at the gaming conference. Bring it on. Bring it on. And I look forward to it. That's why when, listen, you build a house one brick at a time or one board at a time. Okay. We can't expect that Phantasma is going to be this top 10 blockchain tomorrow, but we are absolutely taking the steps to make sure that happens. And the way we do that is we get out and we tell the world about Phantasma and whatever we need to do, whether it's conferences, social media, we're going to do it. And we're going to help bring those folks that don't know about cryptocurrency. We're going to bring them along. We're going to help them with that journey and make it easy to build on our chain.
It's absolutely like full circle when you say, there's an element of a beginning. Not, Phantasma has been built over the last 3 years, and that's the beauty of it, is it's been a sustainable economy to build the layer one foundation for these smart NFTs. And it's been tried and tested. And we have, one of the things we're talking about at the marketing meeting today is going to be creating a testimonial video of use cases for some of these projects that have gone through the journey in the last 12 months. We now have established outside third parties that have gone through the journey of development and have a lot of great things to say. And those are some stories that we want to be able to share and, have that prepared for the GDC as well. But that beginning is adoption. And that's what we're set out to do at Phantasma now. Now it's to a point of, yes, we can play ball. We are a top, 250 project, and we have moved from, those depths of the ranks in the crypto world and proven a lot of different elements. And we've had nearly 40 different influencers talk about us in the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We're getting there, but now it's time to show our target audience what this blockchain can do for their users. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're starting to get into time here, Matt, and why don't we jump over to, I got to do that. I'm going to jump over to the whiteboard here. I think I can
All right.
just get up.
Oh yeah. Well, I can see you getting up in the real world. Oh, there
Yeah.
you are. No, I see your, funny enough, I see your legs.
I know, it's kind of weird. It's a good thing I put pants on today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see the whiteboard a little bit better here, and I think I can probably walk over here and look at some of these comments while you scroll.
Yeah, let me get my computer up here on my. There we go. All right. Let me scroll through. You want to scroll up or down or what?
Well, we didn't plan this part because, first off, I can just see this. Just want to see if there's any questions or anything like that. You can take a look as well. Great to see you as well, blockchain developer. I think I know who that is. And it's great to see you as well, Sean, Dr. Sean, chiropractor.
This is a good question from Dutch, Montana. Where do you see Phantasma Chain 5 years time?
5 years time. That's a really good question, right? I hope that this entire conversation has helped given some guidance into that as well. And there's definitely a lot of different things that can happen in the next 5 years if we look at, what transpired 20 years ago. But our goals right now are adoption and to be the de facto video gaming blockchain, bottom line. So I think that's where I'll put my statement that Phantasma is going to be the go-to gaming blockchain for gamers to develop on. What would you like to say about that, Matt?
Well, I mean, I agree. This industry moves so fast. Right now we are focused on helping the gaming community and the metaverse community. But 5 years from now, there's going to be a transition of real world assets to the blockchain. It's already happened. It's happening in healthcare. It's happening in every single industry right now, but at a nascent level. So, Phantasma is poised to not just be a blockchain for gaming and metaverse, but it's poised to be a top blockchain for NFTs in general. However they're used, whether they're used in VR, AR, or the real world.
That's a good answer. That sounds good. Hell yeah, 100% Matt. That's great.
I think we've talked about this top 10 question here a little bit. What can you do? I think we're moving that along. A lot of announcements on our way. A lot of things that we can't announce today, but certainly the GDC. John, hype. Yep, we're hyping it up. We're definitely doing that. Hey, Stellar Gate, what's going on?
Stella Gate. Hint, hint. That's awesome.
Ron, there's tickets out there. I don't know if we have any personally on the team. I think we've given them all out, but they're not too expensive. But we'd love to have you.
I'll share a little bit about that. The Game Developer Conference has got some, if you can't make it to the physical events, they've got, you can go online and check it out, and they've got a variety of different talks and stuff like that. But more importantly, make sure that you are subscribed to the Phantasma YouTube channel and you get on our email list, because we're going to be doing live updates from the event. You're going to get a lot greater details on our email list, so you definitely want to be there. We're going to be doing some live streams on YouTube. And then, of course, make sure you're on Twitter to get all the quick little updates. And, we're going to be doing updates throughout the day and an event like that. So you want to get on all of our channels from there.
One question here from John. Seems like the age of regulation is coming, which it will. Could that mean trouble for Phantasma? I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Sometimes regulation is actually a good thing. It's a good thing because it's also an acknowledgement. So regulation sometimes is an acknowledgement of a industry or a particular movement, and they regulate so that it can be managed properly and people don't lose their shirt. Now, I know when people in the crypto industry, when you hear regulation, you're like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. I get that. I really do. I get that. It's going to be our job, to make sure that, and especially in the United States, for example, through our representatives, to make sure that the regulation that ever comes out within the United States, it's managed properly, that we have proper regulation. I'm not against regulation. I'm not against it for, listen, if we didn't have like even basic things like the FDA, we might be doing things that we shouldn't be doing with drugs and food and so forth. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's there for a reason. So every blockchain in the world, regardless of what the regulation is going to be, is going to have to adopt and I guess just morph.
And, when I hear that as well, that listening to what you're talking about the change, you are somewhat favorable of it. You recognize that there's value with that. Where's that going to go? It also asks what is meant by regulation, and regulation can mean a whole world of a variety of different things. And I have to make assumption that regulation comes down to the broad nature of cryptocurrency as itself, and whether or not Phantasma, because there was, are there concerns? Well, could it be judged as a security? I think John might have said the same thing. So I think my assumption is, yeah, it is. So there he's saying the same thing, that Phantasma is a security. It's not a security. And when you start to understand the elements of a security and, looking at what, XRP is doing, that's going to be a big case. But Phantasma is very, very, very far away from what XRP is doing. And it's even that term cryptocurrency is a term I hope it leaves the industry, because it's very dispelling. It is it's not that the Phantasma Soul token wants to replace the US dollar or become a security of sorts. It's a token that's required for the software to do what it needs to do to solve the problems that we're talking about, to have that in-game economy. That's what it is. It's not a security. So if that's where your perspectives are, no, there's nobody on the Phantasma team that has any concerns. And Matt and I are both in America and, understand these elements. If that's where you're going, no, we don't have those concerns. Daddied, he's really like to join the team, or join the conference, but he's in Germany. I think it's not fully confirmed, but we've got somebody from Germany that is coming. They are a partner. Iggy from Ghost Festival. I think the only thing that's going to stop him from coming is he's a new daddy.
Yep. Good for him. Congratulations. He'll never sleep again, but congratulations.
Yeah. Well, we're parents. We know how it is, and it is no greater joy in the world than being a dad. No questions about that. So I'm good to hear for that. But yeah, you're going to be able to play Ghost Festival, which we're all waiting for. This is going to be our first mobile game tied into the blockchain. And this game is like awesome because it caters to the widest audience of gamers that are out there. It's addictive. It's got the casino-like feel to it. It's and NFTs and a play to earn P2E component. It's going to be great.
So we
Can't
got
wait.
one question up here. You know, no doubt digital NFTs are good for gaming, but how would real world assets like a car or house benefit? I'll tell you how. Today, when you sign your, when you buy a piece of property, the amount of documentation that you have to sign to get it put into the municipality's public records, okay? The municipality's public records, the amount of documentation is absolutely absurd. I just bought a house not too long ago, and I literally was signing papers over and 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 over again. It was crazy. And some of it was mortgage stuff, some of it was, you know, but a lot of it also was for the deed, for filing it with the county. It's unnecessary. Now, I know that that's been going on for a long time now, and there's reasons why people want physical pen to paper. I get that, and I understand the challenges of changing a process. But the benefit that an NFT will bring, or a smart NFT, is the transfer of ownership. The identity of ownership is immutable. It is what it is, and the transaction history is there on a public blockchain.
Yeah.
So using a smart contract to automate the process of transferring that ownership in different types of rules that are built into the smart contract are going to help automate and reduce a lot of the manual paperwork that's taking place right now in local counties in the United States just to close on a property. It is going to reduce it, and you already see it today. You already see there's Realty that's started as a company. There's a few of them that are out there now that are basically selling homes as NFTs. Kudos to them.
It is. It's going to be neat to, you know, how the townships and different governments start to adopt this technology. I mean, it's not like you're going to be having your title of your car here in the United States as an NFT anytime soon. You know, we're not sitting here saying that, but this is a good conversation because this conversation is leading into the transformation of that. And just to give an example, last week I had a meeting with a couple of different attorneys from the state of Wyoming. And why the state of Wyoming? Because they're the only union in the United States right now that recognizes a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, as an LLC, which means that state is now recognizing a DAO as a business. And when you start to think about the implications of that and what's starting to happen into that state, that's the movement. And how does the United States work? It, you know, one state does a thing. You look at how marijuana was legalized over the last decade, and you know that's how things happen. One state does it, another state does it, and then there's a little bit of a momentum, and then there's, you know, 20 or 30 states, and then it goes federal. And you know that's the path that we're going to see most likely in the United States. And so when we start talking about ownership of assets and the fact that you can run a business as a DAO, well, now that business can own assets, and those assets in the real world are then ultimately divisible through the DAO, and you know have the legal aspects and all of that. And so you know the state of Wyoming is going through a lot of this. And if you follow and learn about the history of the you know the current senator in that state, her history is absolutely fascinating. She's been around cryptocurrency since 2013 and in a lot of different ways. So she gets it. And you know once these people in Congress start to get it, which could take a decade in the United States, but it is what it is. We'll start to see some of those transformations. So even this year, you know, we hope to see a variety of different DAO projects on, you know, being built on the Phantasma chain, and different businesses that we are currently in discussions with for that. So it's, I hope that helps as well.
So one question down there with yes, I mean, can't you sell a house with ETH? How will Soul make it any different? So Phantasma's blockchain is a layer one like Ethereum, but the Phantasma layer one blockchain uses smart programmable NFTs. And That's the big difference right now. Will Ethereum one day move to more of a smart NFT type technology? It's possible. But right now, as we look at the technology and you kind of go a comparison across the board, Phantasma is a step above. And the technology of smart NFTs has a huge factor in providing a benefit, whether it's a digital asset or a real world asset. The fact that I can come back and program that minted NFT with a new characteristic or upgrade it, add data to it, add metadata, for example, to it, to further enhance that NFT or provide more of a paper trail with that NFT. It has a lot of implications, and a lot of problems can be solved with it.
Well, that's what we are going to see. And, you know, in the gaming world, we understand a lot of how these NFTs can change the gaming experience. And that's the current narrative of Phantasma. We are the gaming blockchain. Granted, this blockchain technology can facilitate a whole variety of different solutions. But the gaming industry is prime right now to be disrupted, and this is the year that it's gonna get disrupted. There.
Hey, what's up?
I was just gonna go back and go sit down.
I figured we're kind of coming. I think we're coming to the end.
We're coming to an end. We'll give her a fist pump because I only have one controller. So yeah, dude. Does it actually have your height? Because I know you're 6'3" in life. I'm 6 feet in life.
I am 6'3", but does it feel like that? It feels like that.
I have to look up to you, dude.
Do you? So it is. So it is actually pulling up my height.
Yeah, I have to look up to you. I'm looking up as if you would be 6'3" right now in front of me.
Let me make sure I don't come across my little boundary here. I don't mean to get too close. I'm not going to kiss you. We're just relax. But let me. Oh yeah. Oh, I see what's happening here. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. So yeah, I am. I'm 6'3". You used to play basketball. I mean, it is what it is, you know. But
yeah, that's trippy. I even feel short in VR. Wow. What? I mean, I'm not short.
No, you're not short, but I didn't think that your height would actually show up in VR. But you can't even have. We don't even have legs down here. So.
Well, it's funny because none of us at Phantasma, well, I can't say none of us, but like 90% have never met each other in person. And, you know, 6 of us are all going to meet at the same time at the airport.
Yeah, that's going to be, which is cool though, which I'm looking forward to that too, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, having a global presence and everyone coming in and all meeting at the same time, it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it is. Well, listen, dude, this has been a lot of fun, man. So I think actually, I don't know, where's the time on your computer or where's our time?
It was saying like 5 minutes left. I'm thinking
right. We have got this video, guys, that we just watched is now going to go live on YouTube. So please go out and share it. Let's hype this up. Let's get the community hyped up about this and let the crypto world know that we're going to be in San Francisco and going to shake up a few things. We've got a lot of things lined up for the next month for this and a lot of great stuff at the show. So listen, thanks, dude.
Thanks, Scott. I really appreciate it. Right. Great job emceeing this. Good job. And Phantasma community, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and let's do this. Let's make this happen.
All right, bye.
All right, see ya.
Soldiers, we have some exciting news. March 23rd to the 25th, Phantasma will be exhibiting at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. With nearly 30,000 gamers and game developers in attendance, the Phantasma team will be hard at work recruiting new soldiers, increasing adoption, and most importantly, introducing game developers to the power of Phantasma's Layer 1 Smart NFT ecosystem. Come see us at the booth. We'll have game access NFTs from Ghost Festival, Blood Road, 22 Racing Series, Wild Card, and Wonder Man. Plus other NFTs from partners like Save Planet Earth and Light 45. And some old school non-NFT Phantasma swag that you can use outside the Metaverse. Come meet the team, as well as other partners and recognizable YouTube soldiers. And grab a free exclusive Phantasma t-shirt or follow us on all of our socials to get live updates from the show floor. This community is about to explode. The world is just starting to discover the Metaverse. Just wait until they get a load of Phantasma.